Thanks for watching Littleton Common. And now here's Barbara McRae and Mark Crory. Hello and welcome to Littleton Common, the April edition. As you can see, we are here in the lovely Littleton Common doing our show from location. Not really. But I'm Mark, this is Barbara, and welcome.
Welcome to you. You know what? It's April, right?
Right.
And April showers bring May flowers, and that's an English proverb. That's an old saying from the 1800s, and probably because there is so much rain, usually, in April. So maybe someone made it sound cheerful by adding brings May flowers. And then there's rain, rain, go away, come another day. Oh, it's raining cats and dogs. And most of these sayings started years and years before my generation, but we really don't hear them anymore. I guess that's why they're old sayings. They do have a meaning and reason they were used. I have been looking them up, and I thought it would be fun to go through a few of them. So what do you think, Mark?
I think that's a great idea. Very interesting.
Yep, it's kind of fun. Raining cats and dogs came about in England because dogs and cats would sit on thatched roofs, and when it rained hard, they would just fall off. So I'm imagining the younger generation doesn't know these, but they might have some of their own.
Yeah, like have you heard barking up the wrong tree? Well, today the phrase barking up the wrong tree is used to tell someone that they're talking the wrong or taking the wrong action because of their belief or understanding is incorrect. You know, you're barking up the wrong tree. Well, in the early 1800s in America, the phrase was literally, it meant hunters would use dogs to find raccoons at night. And the dog was supposed to go to the tree where the raccoon was hiding, and he'd bark his alert to let his master know, the hunter. And the raccoons were pretty smart, as you know, and sometimes they'd fool the dogs into thinking they were in a tree while making an escape. Or the dogs would sometimes go to the wrong tree and bark. They were barking up the wrong tree.
Okay, well, the phrase, bury the hatchet, has maintained its same meaning since its inception, which is to end a conflict or to make peace. Recorded first in the 1600s, the chiefs of Native American tribes would bury their weapons when they would come to a peace agreement with those against whom they were fighting.
Oh, interesting.
We should do that today.
Yeah, we probably should. Hands down. You know, when we use hands down, it typically means without effort, or it was easy, you know, hands down. Well, the phrase itself came from the horse racing industry in the mid-1800s. People used the phrase to describe a jockey who was so far ahead he could relax from holding the reins of his horse by putting his hands down and still win the competition, hands down.
Terrific. Well, we'll do this hands down, right?
Okay.
See a penny, pick it up, and all day long you'll have good luck. The rhyme traces its origins to old superstitions surrounding luck and fortune, to mention good and evil, in times when pennies had more significant value. Finding one was considered a sign of good luck or a potential blessing. The act of picking up the penny was believed to bring prosperity or good fortune throughout the day. This belief may have stemmed from ancient cultures that saw metal, especially coins, as symbols of wealth and protection. Over time, the phrase evolved into a simple rhyme passed down through generations as a playful encouragement to embrace luck wherever it's found, even in small amounts, unless, of course, that penny is face down. It's unclear where the association began, but over time, the heads on the penny became associated with prosperity. Tails up penny meant associated with evil or bad luck. To this day, many people will not touch Or pick up a face-down coin for fear of inviting bad luck. I'm not sure if I've had good luck with a penny, but picking them up adds to the piggy bank.
That's true. That's true. You know, I don't know if, do you still pick up
Oh, of
pennies?
course.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh,
see?
yeah. I walk looking down.
I don't normally pick up a penny. It has to be a nickel, a dime, something silver. If I see pennies on the ground, in fact, I think there was some sort of legislation that was going to be passed where they were looking at rounding everything up to the nearest dollar, which...
I know, but listen, if you pick up 10 pennies, you've got a dime.
You're right, I know, and probably see a lot more of them on the ground these days, because when people come out of a store and they got pennies, they throw the pennies on the ground. Have you ever noticed, you go around the entrance to different stores, you see pennies everywhere.
No, but I think after this I'll run by Donald's.
Make sure they're facing heads up.
I take them either way.
Okay,
Either way.
all right.
All right, well, April showers will help grow May flowers and for the country gardeners. Annual May plant sale. The club is looking at the day we can dig and plant our gardens to start collecting and potting plants for the sale. Put May 10th on your calendar to join us at the Common and pick out the plants for your front or backyard or maybe Mother's Day. A Mother's Day gift, that would be nice, a nice plant. And Claude Monet said, "My garden is my most beautiful masterpiece."
That's true. You know, and Albert Einstein once said, the only thing that you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. So, to tell you all about our own Reuben Hoare Library, here is Library Director Sam Alvarez. Hi, Sam.
Thanks, Mark. Lots going on at the library this April. We have a sourdough starter workshop with Sourdough Brandon on Tuesday, April 8th at 6:30 p.m. in the Sturts meeting room. Learn how to make, maintain, and store a sourdough starter from an expert sourdough baker and food blogger, Sourdough Brandon. You'll leave with many tips and tricks on how to keep your sourdough starter active, what to make, and even leave with some free sourdough starter. Matt York is back with the Classic Country Review on Saturday, April 19th at 2 p.m. in the Sturts meeting room. Longtime New England musician and author Matt York will perform the songs of classic country and honky-tonk artists and tell stories of their careers, starting with artists like Hank Williams, Patsy Cline, and many more. York will discuss the origins of Western swing music and the heroes of the Texas and Nashville honky-tonks. If you're interested in vermicomposting, join us on Wednesday, April 23rd at 6:30 p.m. in the Sturts room. You'll learn the basics of vermicomposting, how to use composting worms to transform kitchen scraps into a soil amendment filled with beneficial nutrients and microbes, presented by Malin Goodwin. Join us on Tuesday, April 29th at 6 p.m. in the Sturts room for an author talk with Becca Carnahan. She's a Littleton mom, career coach, and author of When Mommy Grows Up, Finding Career Clarity While Covered in Kids, for an engaging and interactive author talk on navigating the chaotic, exciting, and often overwhelming adventure of managing our careers, managing our families, and managing to laugh through it all. Please remember to check the library website at www.littletonlibrary.org to register for any upcoming events. You can check the website for upcoming children and teen events as well. Thank you.
Well, today my guest is Denise Moniz, and she's the president of the Rotary.
Correct.
And I have to tell you, the Rotary is one of my favorite organizations.
Oh, thank you.
I just can't believe all the things that you do. So what I want to know is, and I'm sure people want to know, you must have a lot of projects going on.
We do.
And why don't you tell us something about those?
Okay. So we have, coming up in July is our big fundraiser, the Appleman Triathlon. This will be our 21st year doing the Appleman.
My God.
Yeah. It raises the bulk of the money that we use to make donations, do projects throughout town, have lunches and whatnot. So it's critical to us to make this a big success.
I have to tell you, that was the very first interview I ever did as a class. they wanted us to go do an interview, and so they pushed me out there, and I did an interview about
The Apple Man? Oh,
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because for years I worked the Apple Man, but as an EMT. And then recently, the past few years, I got involved with Rotary just as an outsider. My boyfriend is a Rotarian. And then about a year and a half ago, actually, the club was after me to join. And finally, I caved and I joined. And then last July, I became president.
See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been asked to join too, but when I was asked, you were meeting like 7 in the morning, and I kept telling them I can't. I'll come in my jammies because I like my relaxation time when I get up at 5:30
Yeah.
until about 8:30.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't. So now Dave Plogger told me that you meet at lunchtime.
Lunchtime, yes. Every Wednesday at lunchtime at Il Forno's. That's our basic home base. If they have an event going on in the front room, then they'll ask us if we could switch out. And you'll usually go to the police station or the fire station.
Oh.
The only difference on that is on Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month, we do an evening meeting to try and get people who have business commitments. They have to work during lunchtime. Into pull in some younger people maybe who are freer at 5:30 at night than they are at 12 noon.
Well,
so it's
makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to make sure that you have a good, case of volunteers.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So good.
Yeah. So some of our other projects that we've done, or that we're working on. So the month of May, it's a Rotary Day of Service, but the official day of service, Rotary scheduled a function and didn't realize they conflicted. So the month of May is the Rotary month of service.
Oh.
So my goal is to try and get some projects going throughout town. I want to get other organizations involved also, and do some cleanup. I love going through towns, especially up in New Hampshire. You see it a lot, like the vacation towns. And the towns are beautiful. There's flowers everywhere. They're clean. It's green. And it's like, what can we do to get people to drive through Littleton and be like, well, isn't this a cute little town? Just something.
Yeah.
So we're working diligently on trying to get a plan in place and get going on that. I reached out to the garden club, and
I was gonna say.
I want to reach out to some of the scouts and see if I can get some young people, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and some muscle to do some of the work for us,
Good.
and just get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Boy Scouts, they're great about helping out.
Oh, they are. Yeah. Absolutely. But then we also we're hoping to bring the carnival back this year. We're in a little tough predicament because Sal's working over there, and so we have to see if there's a spot on his property that won't be used, and just relocate that a little bit, hopefully. So that's in the works right now, and then we donated to the senior center. So we'll have a room named after the Rotary Club of Littleton.
Excellent.
We're doing it in honor of all the volunteers who have made the Rotary the success that it is. There's a lot of work that goes into Rotary, and there are so many people that volunteer, like wonderful people. It's a very good organization of people.
I think so.
And I think we need to recognize everyone that's been part of that, to make it what it is. We're working. We're going to be donating the students at Neshoba Valley Technical High School from Littleton. The graduates, the goal is to come up with a toolbox type of scholarship, because as they graduate, a lot of them with a trade, and then they need the tools for their trade.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
they're calling it a toolbox.
Yeah. I love it.
Award. Yeah, so we want to donate to that.
Toolboxes are fun to have too, because
Yes.
I have my dad's.
Okay.
And of course, I made it into like a sewing
There you go.
box.
Yeah.
But
Tools are tools.
but it still is his, and that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, and it does take tools. I've
It
collected
does.
mine over the years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And to be awarded some upon your graduation, like what a nice
I love
gift. You know, I loved the idea, and I'm like, let's roll with that. You know, and we give to the Littleton Scholarship Trust every year through the Thanksgiving breakfast. All that money goes to them. So I'm like, well, let's help the kids at the Tech too. You know, these
Yeah.
are Littleton students. And we're working with Theo's Market, the old Springdale, for a veterans breakfast sometime in May.
Oh, nice.
Up on the farm. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, great.
Jamie has a couple of coffee vendors that work with her, and the three of them have been talking. So she reached out to me and said, hey, would Rotary be interested in helping with this? Like, absolutely.
Yes.
So that's in the planning stages, so we'll hopefully have more information about that coming out soon. And
Yeah. I think that she is very community, conscious.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I love what she's done with the farm down there, and she's working hard to keep it
Yeah.
a farm, and
Yep.
a farm that people like to go to. And
Exactly.
she's got lots of activities there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Rotarians
Mm-hmm.
ought to be very proud of what they do. And it's very obvious.
Yes.
It isn't like you stand around, what's the Rotary?
Exactly. Exactly. We are people who want to do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you join, you're going to work.
Yes, yeah. Part of our induction speech is that only busy people are allowed to be inducted into Rotary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always that way, isn't
Right,
it?
right. Yeah.
And I don't believe age matters, right?
It does not. No.
Yeah.
No, not. I mean, we have from 80 something to we just have a new member that just applied. I'm gonna guess he's probably 30 something. Yeah.
Wow. Anybody younger ever?
I haven't seen anybody younger yet, but I'm new there. I would love to
course.
see some younger people, even younger than 30 something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that age, they're probably really busy with, work and
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
They're more concentrating
And
on
it's
a young
and their
family.
families and stuff, and there is a fee to join Rotary, which I always laugh about because I'm like, I have to pay to volunteer somewhere, but Rotary is an international organization, and there's a lot to keep Rotary the way it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot for insurances and stuff like that too, and Rotary keeps a good insurance policy, so the cost is $400 a year that we break into 2 payments of $200 each. So it is, like, for a young family, that's something to consider, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
$200 is at least 2 pairs of shoes, right?
Yeah, well, let's hope.
Yeah. So,
Well, that's, I like people knowing what the Rotary does
yes.
because, like I said, it's my favorite, and one of them, I should say. I don't want other people to think I don't care about them.
You don't want to be biased.
Right. So I'm in Garden Club too, so.
There you go.
And I know that they like to beautify Littleton. So I'm
Exactly.
glad that you're going to talk to them.
Yes. Yeah.
I want them to put more flowery flowers in the containers,
Yeah.
But it just needs help.
Yeah, it
from
does. And it's part of the involvement. And I think we need to somehow reach out better and get the younger people, like the flower pots, like to water throughout the summer. Some of these younger kids, they have cars. Why not? That could be a community service project for them.
Oh, yeah.
It's your job every, Tuesday and Friday. You have to go water the pots.
Yeah. Great.
Get a handful or something. I don't know. I think they're just ideas. We just have to come up with them and let the kids know that these opportunities are out there.
Yeah.
Come see us. Make
Well,
the
when you're
commitment.
walking when you're talking
Yeah.
to the different organizations, they might have ideas for you that,
Exactly.
we need this done, and our members are getting older, so can we have help from the younger people?
Yeah.
Or just have them come along and learn about them,
Yes.
you know, about the organizations even.
Yeah.
It would not be a bad idea to say, okay, we're not asking you to do anything, but come with us and see what we do and see if you're interested in helping.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely. Well, that's Rotary has the RILA program. It's the Rotary Youth Leadership
Okay.
I forget the A is for. And that's actually coming up soon. So we picked 10 students from Littleton, and they will go spend a weekend at Fitchburg State College, and they learn leadership skills. And the kids come back and talk about it, and they love it. Some of them come out of their shells
Yeah.
at these leadership conferences.
Yeah, see, there's another thing. Mm-hmm. So there's a list.
There's a list. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not sitting around just looking beautiful.
No, my mind is always going for new things to do. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
my goal, even last year's President Chris Alphen, like our focus is to try and bring more back to Littleton. Our main focus is Littleton. There's a lot going on in the world, and I get it. But there's a lot going on here in Littleton. There's a lot of need here. Even Loaves and Fishes, we've worked with them doing food drives and stuff and helping them. And they came and spoke to us, and like the number of residents from Littleton that are going to Loaves and Fishes is growing. And if that need is growing, that means we have more work to do right here in Littleton.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think some people don't realize that Littleton people, there are people here who need help. It just looks like we're
Absolutely.
okay because it's a nice looking little town. But it is
Exactly.
growing faster. And
Yep.
there'll be more and more people.
Yeah.
So you'll never know what we really am going to need.
No, exactly.
Yeah. One of the Rotarians wanted to help with a program we used to have here at the senior center. And he was willing to work with everybody. Turned out, I guess they weren't going to do it anymore. But I thought it was very nice of him to come out and say, I'm willing to help with that program. So, and he was with the Rotary saying
Yeah.
this. So
Okay.
maybe sometimes even on their own they go out. And,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's needs, and I think people find their little things that they enjoy doing, and they look for ways to go and do it
Yeah.
even independently.
Right. And one of the things I want you to talk about
Okay.
is Deb's beds.
Okay, that's near and dear.
I bet there are a lot of people that don't know a thing about that.
Probably not.
Because I didn't know until like last year.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great program.
It
and I
is.
want you to talk about it.
All right. So Deb's Beds actually started locally as Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So Chris Alphen, who started it, he was watching Mike Rowe's show, Returning the Favor.
Oh.
And they were doing a feature on Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And Chris says, you got to watch this. We have to do this. And I'm like, we have to?
Yeah.
One more thing. So we watched it and we talked about it, and he's like, I'm gonna go for it. So he went out to Idaho. He went through all the training and he came back, and we started a Massachusetts chapter of Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And then about 2 years ago, there's just some stuff that happened. There wasn't it just wasn't sitting well, so we separated. We divested and started Deb's Beds. So we continue the same mission, but it's locally. It's strictly Massachusetts, and we can do a little bit more. Like he's made some kids have a bigger bed need, like a larger bed. He's even helped some moms who don't have a bed to sleep on. And people will donate stuffed animals. We're not supposed to give away stuffed animals. Well, now we can. People have donated pajamas. We're not supposed to give out pajamas. Well, now we can. We can do whatever we want pretty much within the parameters of what we do. So what we do is 100% donation driven. People donate money. We buy the wood and all the screws and the stain materials, and we have bed builds. A lot of times companies will sponsor the bed builds, and their people will come in for the day and build as many beds as they can for the money that they have. We sand, stain, drill, assemble, and we get all the bed parts put together, and then we have a website on Deb's Beds, I think it's debsbeds.org, and people will go there to apply for a bed.
Oh,
And we have a woman who calls and does the screening, and then she forwards the information on, and Chris will organize some volunteers, and off they go and deliver beds. Yeah.
well, I think it's a terrific program.
It really is, and everything's brand new. And some people like say, "Oh, my stuff, it's in great shape," and it's like, no, it's going to be brand new. These kids get everything brand new. A couple of reasons. A, they probably haven't had anything brand new, so this is theirs. And the blankets that we do, a lot of them are the fleece cut and tie blankets, the
Oh, yeah.
no-sew blankets, and we tell them that somebody made this blanket especially for them, and their faces light up that somebody did this just for them.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's they get everything brand new. Somebody once tried to say that we gave them bed bugs. And it's like, well, it wasn't us that gave you bed bugs,
No.
because everything is brand new.
Right.
Nothing is secondhand.
You're going to get somebody complain, aren't you, on anything?
Exactly. So it's brand new, and that's just that. I'll put out a call for action. I'll say, hey, we're running low on pillows, and I'll come home from work and I'll have 20 pillows sitting on my front steps. It's crazy. And it comes from all over, and a lot of it is friends. I'm a nurse. I work in a hospital. I worked at Neshoba for 30 years, and the people there would always bring me pillows or sheets. But the community of Littleton it's crazy, the amount of stuff. Like, people see it, and I don't even know who people are. I have a camera on my front door, and random people will just stop by and drop a bag, and I'm like, there's a bag at the front door.
Oh, well, speaking of pillows, I have a little something here for Deb's Beds.
Well, thank you very
and
much.
it's from us at Littleton Community Television.
Thank you. That's lovely. Nice. Very nice. Thank
Well,
you.
Maybe you need 2 more.
We can always use 2 more. We can always use 2 more.
Terrific.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And I'm anxious to hear more about it one of these days.
Absolutely.
I'm happy that you're doing that. In fact, I'm happy about all the things that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that people out there can see and hear about it.
Yeah.
So, as time goes by and you do your projects, maybe you'll come back and tell us how they went.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to. I would love
Well,
to.
I appreciate you coming today, Denise.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And we'll be looking forward to
All
seeing
right.
you again.
Very good. Thank you
And
so
the
much.
Rotary people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank them
All
for
right.
me.
I will. I will do
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Good.
All right.
Do you have a musical talent you'd like to share with a small group? A few years ago, some people got together to participate in some light-hearted entertainment. We were only able to enjoy this for a short time, 2 weeks. And that's because of COVID, when everything stopped. It's 2025, and some Littleton seniors thought it was a good idea to try again. If you play any instrument or would like to sing and would like to share with others in a small group, bring your talent and let's make music together. Nancy Levine and Mark Rory, along with EHS COA and the Friends of the COA, are planning a meeting to bring back this fun program. So join them on April 16th, 11 a.m., second floor, room 320, Shattuck Street Town Office Building. You know, John Denver said, music brings people together. It allows us to experience the same emotions.
Now you said 320 and second floor should be, I think, 230.
Oh, well, you know,
Get the numbers
I'm always
back. Yeah,
backwards.
230. So make a note to watch for information about a committee forming to host a telethon. That's right, a telethon. More will be mentioned on this show and in the Senior Broadcaster. We'll be looking for talent and volunteers, and all ages are welcome. So you want to call me, 978-540-2488, or you can email me at mcrory@littletonma.org. And I'm kind of excited about this telethon. You know, it's to raise funds for the Friends of the COA. It will take place in the new Senior Center in October. And I don't know, I'm just excited about the potential of hosting an event there that's, you know, we have cameras and things that are installed in the new building, so give us a chance to try those out. But also, you know, just have talent coming in and performing and see what happens. I don't think Littleton's ever had a telethon before.
I know, so. I'm excited about it because it's also fun to find out. You find people who you knew that have this talent you didn't know about. And it's really great that they would come out, and I'm hoping they do, to perform during this telethon. And I've been kind of talking about it out there, and I've already got a few people who said, yes,
good.
I want to be in it.
Good. Well, if you have a talent, if you play an instrument, if you sing, whatever it is, you juggle, you're a comedian, we want to kind of keep it G and maybe a little bit of PG, but mostly G. Give me a call. Like you said, the number's on your screen again, 540-2488, or you can email me. The email address is also here on the screen.
Yeah, and don't be shy.
Right.
Don't be shy.
No,
Come on.
It's Littleton. Come on, people love it.
Yeah. Any age.
Any age, yeah. Well, town meeting is coming up in May, and here is Town Administrator Jim Duggan to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks, Mark. Town meeting season is upon us again. And this spring town meeting will be May 6th, 7 o'clock at the middle school on Russell Street. But real important is a pre-meeting at 6 o'clock right down the hall in the school regarding the Shaker Lane school building project. Really important opportunity for people to ask questions, get the most up-to-date information and facts and where it is in the process, and hopefully in going forward to be able to support that project. It's very important for the community. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing everyone there.
You know, Mark, I enjoy being a part of Littleton Cable Television, and I have for the past 30 years. Hosting this show came after I learned how to produce shows and use cameras and edit. I was not young, but I liked learning the works at that retirement age. Now I write the scripts and sit in my seat for the cameras. I get to learn new things by inviting guests with all kinds of interesting hobbies or interests or jobs. I think some of us are holding back when they could be here, learning how community television works.
For sure. So this month, I'm going to take you on a brief walking tour of our LCTV facilities. Not the whole thing, but just a glimpse of what goes on behind the scenes. So let's go. So the first thing I want you to notice is that this is the green screen set. Barbara and I tape our show here. We got 3 teleprompters here that we're reading off of. And we can basically be anywhere we want to be. This month, we're at Littleton Common, right?
Right.
Okay. So as we move out of, we call the Studio A our virtual set. We do probably 98% of our shows on the virtual set. But if I walk over this way, you can see our new Studio B, which is our podcasting set. And this was the brainchild of Tom Glorioso, who is a resident in town, a senior actually at Littleton High School, and he's a member of Troop 20, and he had this idea to do this for his Eagle Scout project. So he came up with this whole design. We love it. It looks really cool, and we invite people, hey, if you have some opinions on things, what's going on in the world these days, you want to do a podcast, that's kind of the hip thing to do. We also designed it so it has 3 cameras. So it's not only an audio podcast, but it serves dual purpose, video and audio. We can have up to 4 people, and we can have more if we want, but 4 works the best. And so we invite you, if you want to check that out. We have one podcast that records every other week. It's called 01460 On the Go. And that's hosted by Karen Morrison from the Select Board. And she has different guests in, talk about town stuff. So we don't have a newspaper. So to help fill in some of the gaps, she has this show on 01460 and has a lot of interesting and timely things relevant to Littleton. So we do all this. And if you're interested in being involved with community television, give me a call, because we have free workshops. We teach people how to use the equipment. We teach people how to direct their own show. I'll be right back, Barbara. And over here in this area, by the way, what we're walking in Town Hall used to be the gymnasium. So we have a very big, spacious area. Right here is the editing suites that we use. We use Final Cut on an Apple iMac for our editing, and we teach people how to use that too as well. So we invite anybody, students, any age, it doesn't matter what you are, we'll teach you. And how much are those workshops again? Oh yeah, they're free. So, how can you go wrong with free? Now sometimes people think, oh, I'm getting something for free, it must not be that good. You'd be dead wrong about that, okay? It's the best. I never have anybody say anything but good things to my face about it. So this is my office, but it's also a showcase for our 3 channels. Now, if you're a Comcast or Verizon subscriber, you can watch our content on the public education or government channel. If you're not a Comcast subscriber, you can still watch our stuff on streaming on demand. But we get funded from Comcast and Verizon subscribers. So if you're not a customer, maybe you might want to consider other ways to help us out by volunteering or coming in or being involved, right? So I'm going to head back over to the set now and continue our show. Like I said, this was a brief tour. And thanks to Judy. Remember Judy, the Time Life operator? Well, this is Judy, the camera person from LCTV. So I'm going to go back here. I hope you enjoy this brief tour, and we'll get back to doing our show. There you go.
That was fun. On Thursday, April 24th at 2 p.m., the Littleton Country Gardeners will be hosting the program Eyes on Owls in the library Sturts Room. This is open to the public, and children ages 6 and older are welcome. The program is presented by Marcia and Mark Wilson, so come in and learn more about your wild neighbors and their habits. Don't miss this fascinating program.
I bet it'll be a hoot. Oh, sorry. Cinco de Mayo is on May 5th, and even though it's a Mexican holiday, many here in the U.S. use the day to celebrate Mexican culture. And thanks to Megan Murphy for bringing this celebration to our Littleton seniors here in town. And there will be a Cinco de Mayo dance and dinner on, you guessed it, May 5th in the multipurpose room at the soon-to-be former senior center. So I happen to know the leader of the band. He shows up in my mirror every time I look at it because it's me. So my band, the California Dreamers, will be playing at that event. And it's funny, Barbara, I have to say, we're asked if we know any Spanish music, Mexican themed or anything like that. And so we have to, kind of looked at because we play mostly 50s and 60s type of music. So, but there's a couple of songs that, were done by, either Mexican artists or had, mentioned Mexico or in them.
Yeah,
so
Good.
We'll pull as many as we can together, and we're going to have a fun time. But that's it's going to be Cinco de Mayo, and sign up by calling the EHS office because they always like to know how many people are going to be there, and it includes dinner, and the dance floor will be officially open, and we always have a fun time playing for the seniors down there, and they love the music we play because it's the music of it's kind of the soundtrack of their generation growing up.
They do love your band,
Yeah.
and it is great.
Yeah.
And maybe a few people know some Mexican dances.
That would be interesting. A little hat dance, put it with sombrero and the
Yeah.
As long as they're not taking a fiesta or siesta rather
Oh, yeah, that's right.
while we're playing.
Oh,
We'll have
well,
to
you
turn
know our
turn
age.
it up a little bit. Wake up, little Susie, wake up.
Oh, well, it'll be fun.
It'll be a blast, yeah, for sure. Well, school will be wrapping up in May for the class of 2025 at Littleton High School. Hey, be sure to check our education channel during that month for year-end activities like the Senior Parade, academic and sports awards nights, the National Honor Society ceremony, and of course, graduation, which will be on Friday, May 30th this year.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for watching today. And don't forget to stop and smell the roses.
I see what you did there.
And hug a senior.